Have you ever believed you were starting your day the healthy way, only to discover you might be doing the complete opposite? What if I told you that the most common breakfast, yes, the one most Americans eat every single morning, is silently damaging your heart? No chest pain. No obvious symptoms. Just a ticking time bomb hidden beneath your toast and coffee. Sounds dramatic? Maybe. But as a doctor who's seen the aftermath too many times to count, I can tell you. It's very real, and it's happening to millions every morning, without them even knowing. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And while that phrase is technically true, what nobody tells you is that not all breakfasts are created equal. In fact, one particular type of breakfast, a breakfast that's marketed as convenient, energizing, even heart-healthy, is one of the top contributors to early heart failure, chronic inflammation, and deadly silent plaque buildup in older adults. And here's the kicker. It's not fast food, not bacon and eggs, not sugary cereal. It's worse. Let's break your expectations. Most people think oatmeal with a splash of skim milk, a glass of orange juice, and a piece of toast is a perfect start. But what if that healthy combo is the exact thing driving up your insulin, stressing your arteries, and silently laying the foundation for a future heart attack? What if you've been trained by commercials, outdated food pyramids, and even your family doctor to eat a meal that does the opposite of what you intend? I still remember the morning when Mr. Harold Green came into my clinic. 67 years old. A retired English teacher. He looked great. Fit, active, sharp-minded. A brisk walker, loved crossword puzzles, rarely missed a checkup. He had no major complaints, just a bit of fatigue after breakfast, some occasional lightheadedness, and this vague feeling of slowness in the mornings. His blood work was within range. His blood pressure wasn't alarming. So why was I worried? Because I'd seen this pattern before. I asked Harold to do something unusual. Track his exact breakfast routine for a week. And when he returned with his food log, the pattern hit me like a thunderclap. Every morning at precisely 7 a.m., Harold would eat a small bowl of instant oatmeal, flavored, usually maple or apple cinnamon, a cup of low-fat milk, a glass of orange juice, and 2 slices of whole wheat toast. Sounds like something from a heart-healthy cookbook, doesn't it? Except it's not. It's a glucose storm. Here's what that breakfast does to your body, especially after 60. First, the flavored oatmeal is loaded with added sugars, sometimes up to 12 grams per packet. That alone spikes your blood sugar. Now add the glass of orange juice, another 20 grams of pure fructose. Then the toast, typically made with processed flour, hits your system like a fast-burning carbohydrate. Within 20 minutes, your pancreas is working overtime, your insulin is surging, and your arteries are quietly inflaming. And this isn't just about diabetes. It's about what that sugar-insulin roller coaster does to your endothelium, the fragile inner lining of your blood vessels. When that lining gets irritated daily, it triggers a process called endothelial dysfunction. Think of it like tiny paper cuts inside your arteries. And your body, trying to patch these cuts, starts layering cholesterol and plaque over the wounds. This is how silent heart disease begins. Not from bacon. Not from steak. From sugar spikes. From chronic carb overload. From healthy breakfasts that trick your body into metabolic mayhem. Now let's throw in another twist. Harold always ate breakfast within 15 minutes of waking. No hydration. No movement. Just straight to the table. And this detail matters. Because after a night of sleep, your blood is naturally more viscous, thicker. Your hydration is low. Your body is craving water, not glucose. When you introduce a surge of sugar to thick blood, you increase the risk of clotting, blood pressure surges, and even arrhythmias. In fact, a 2023 study published in the Journal of Cardiac Nutrition revealed that adults over 60 who began their day with a sugar-rich breakfast had 2.3 times higher risk of developing silent atherosclerosis within 5 years, even if they had no previous heart problems. You might look fine. Your EKG might look fine. But every bite is pushing your arteries closer to crisis. Harold was lucky. We caught it early. We adjusted his breakfast. Swapped the instant oats for steel-cut oats. Replaced juice with water. Added avocado and boiled eggs. delayed his eating by 30 minutes to allow hydration and light stretching. Within 3 months, his energy was back, his fatigue was gone, and more importantly, his blood markers for inflammation had dropped significantly. But most people aren't as lucky as Harold. They don't catch it in time. They collapse while gardening. They feel a flutter while brushing their teeth. Or worse, they don't get a warning at all. The heart just stops. Silently. So now I ask you, what's in your breakfast? Is it giving your heart the strength it needs, or silently tearing it apart, one morning at a time? You've been told breakfast is sacred, non-negotiable. Doctors, nutritionists, the media, they all repeat the same mantra. Don't skip breakfast, it fuels your body and protects your heart. But what if that idea, deeply embedded in our routines and culture, is dangerously outdated? What if skipping the wrong kind of breakfast is actually the first act of saving your heart, not sabotaging it? I know, it sounds like heresy. After all, how could something so common, so recommended, be wrong? But here's what the latest cardiometabolic research is revealing, and it should shake every assumption you've ever had. It's not whether you eat breakfast. It's what and when you eat it that defines your heart's future. We now know that the traditional carb-loaded American breakfast doesn't wake you up. It wears you down. It doesn't protect your heart. It provokes it. Those pancakes with syrup? That glass of orange juice? That fruit on the bottom yogurt? They send your blood sugar soaring, your insulin spiking, and your arteries scrambling to cope. You feel awake for a while, then sluggish, tired, even irritable. That's not energy. That's your heart waving a white flag. The truth is sobering. Your breakfast may be engineered to taste heart-healthy, but metabolically, it's closer to dessert. Worse, many so-called healthy breakfasts actually intensify oxidative stress in aging hearts, leading to inflammation, blood pressure swings, and silent endothelial damage. And yet we keep eating them. Not because we're ignorant, but because we were misled. Big food companies sponsor health labels. Cereal boxes flash heart-shaped icons. Juice brands highlight vitamin C, while hiding sugar levels that rival soda. The system isn't broken. It was built this way. That's why it's time to unlearn. To question everything. To pause before you butter that toast and ask, is this truly nourishing me, or numbing me with routine? Let me say something bold. You don't need breakfast the way you were taught. You need heart-smart fuel. You need timing that supports your body's natural rhythms. You need truth, not tradition. And it starts with breaking the mold. Don't fear hunger. Fear inflammation. Don't crave quick fixes. Crave long-term circulation. Your heart isn't begging for granola. It's begging for hydration, stability, and freedom from the morning sugar rush. Every time you eat, you're either feeding disease or fighting it. So tomorrow morning, pause. Think. Hydrate. And remember, skipping that one toxic breakfast habit might just be the quiet act that saves your heart's life. Her name was Linda. 73 years old, widowed, grandmother of 4, and one of the most vibrant women I had ever met. She wore bold lipstick, played piano every Sunday at her local church, and had the kind of laugh that could light up the darkest waiting room. On paper, she was the model of health. No smoking. No drinking. Her cholesterol, slightly high, but nothing dramatic. Her blood pressure, a bit elevated but managed. She came in for her annual checkup, smiling as usual, chatting about her upcoming vacation to visit her grandchildren in Colorado. But then she mentioned something, almost casually, that made me stop. "Doc," she said, "I've been getting this odd flutter in my chest after breakfast. Lasts a minute or two, like my heart skips and then catches up. It's probably just age, right?" I asked her what she had for breakfast. Her answer chilled me. "Oh, same as always. A cup of yogurt with granola, a banana, and a glass of OJ. I've been eating that for years. It's the healthy kind." But it wasn't. Her heart-healthy yogurt had nearly 18 grams of sugar. The granola, loaded with honey and added oils. The orange juice, pure fructose. It wasn't a meal. It was a metabolic ambush. And her heart was paying the price, quietly. We ran tests. What we found was early-stage atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat that, if left unchecked, could lead to stroke or heart failure. She broke down in my office. "I did everything right," she whispered. "I followed the rules. Why is this happening?" I held her hand and said the hardest truth of all. "Because the rules were wrong, Linda." She wasn't betrayed by her body. She was betrayed by decades of marketing, by false food labels, by a system that taught her sweetness equals strength. That week we changed everything. No more sugar-laced granola. No more morning juice. We introduced water first thing, followed by protein, eggs, nuts, avocado. No more racing heartbeat. No more flutter. But what stayed with me most wasn't the recovery. It was her quiet rage. "Why didn't anyone tell me sooner?" she asked. And I couldn't answer. Because too many still believe the lie. Too many Lindas are out there, starting their day with a ticking time bomb wrapped in fruit flavors and shiny packaging. So if you're reading this, remember Linda. Remember that a smiling face and a steady gait mean nothing if your heart is silently crying for help. You don't need fear, but you do need truth. And sometimes the truth hides in the food we trust the most. Hidden breakfast habits destroying your heart. Let's count them down. The quiet culprits that sneak into your breakfast routine and start the slow decay of your heart from the inside out. These aren't wild vices or fast food binges. They're innocent habits, common, trusted, even praised by health commercials. But behind that healthy glow lies a darker truth. And the further down this list you go, the more dangerous it gets. Habit number 3. Starting your day with juice instead of water. It sounds so innocent. A splash of orange juice, maybe apple, maybe cranberry. It feels fresh, alive, and full of vitamins. But here's the truth. A single glass of orange juice contains as much sugar as a can of soda. And when your body is dehydrated after sleep, slamming it with fructose is like pouring syrup through your arteries. You're forcing your heart to pump thickened blood while insulin surges to catch the sugar wave. Instead of starting your day with clarity, you start with chaos, metabolic and vascular. Habit number 2. Eating healthy carbs without protein or fat. Toast, cereal, granola bars, even oatmeal. Without a source of healthy fat or clean protein, these carb-heavy foods act like sugar in disguise. They digest fast, spike blood sugar, and create insulin roller coasters that damage the endothelium, the lining of your blood vessels. Over time, this constant spike crash cycle inflames your arteries, hardens their walls, and quietly sets the stage for atherosclerosis. You don't feel it today, but your heart feels it every single morning. Habit number 1. Eating too soon after waking up. This might shock you. We've been told to eat within 30 minutes of waking to boost metabolism. But for people over 60, especially those with cardiovascular risks, this advice can backfire. Your body wakes up in a mild state of dehydration and high cortisol. Eating too soon floods your system with glucose before hydration or movement can stabilize you. Blood pressure spikes. Heart rhythm becomes erratic. And your cardiovascular system begins the day in distress instead of balance. And here's the most dangerous part. None of these habits feel harmful. They feel normal, routine, even comforting. That's what makes them so deadly. You don't see the damage until it's too late. Until the doctor says, "There's some plaque buildup." Or worse, you never hear a warning. Just the siren of an ambulance. But now you know. You've seen behind the curtain. These aren't just habits, they're decisions. And tomorrow morning, you get to decide differently. Start with water. Wait 30 minutes. Choose a breakfast with clean protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Break the loop. Let your heart breathe.